A National Auto Sport Association 2007 National Championship presented by Toyo Tires, a speedcast of this weekend's feature categories, the Camaro Mustang Challenge. My name is Rob Howden. I'm joined in the booth by my colleague Al Craighead. And now we've got some great feature classes today. It's Camaros, it's Mustangs, it's big pony cars here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the high horsepower American-built sedan cars, this is a class to watch. You're going to see a lot of Mustangs and Camaros going head-to-head, battling for top honors around this fast technical road course here at Mid-Ohio.
A couple of different categories obviously on the racetrack for us here today, as we have our CMC and CMC2 categories. CMC, the primary category for Mustangs from 1979 up to the present, as well as 82 to 02 Camaros. And then we've got our CMC2s, which are for the newer cars, right now the 2005 and newer Mustangs and the LS1 powered Camaros. So two really different cars.
Yeah, correct. The original CMC cars are, 230, 240 horsepower, 300 torque, weighing about 3,000 pounds. And the newer cars, because they have higher horsepower and higher torque, they've added some weight to them. They have to run a higher weight. So you're looking at, 260 to 300 horsepower for the CM2 cars, but they're going to weigh, 3,500 cars or so.
Our drivers starting to work their way up onto the front straightaway here for our standing start. Let's have a look at the grid here as we get ready to go in CMC.
CMC, starting on pole, be Glenn Landrum, who's driving a Chevy Camaro. And number 2 spot will be Jeff Birch, another Texas guy driving a Chevy Camaro. Number 3 will be Nick Steele in yet another Camaro. Starting 4th will be Cody Powell in a Chevy Camaro. And starting 5th will be Rusty Mitchell in a Mustang. So we got a nice little mix there up front. Standing start. It'll be interesting to see who gets the best launch here off the line.
11 corners around this fantastic racetrack located here in Ohio. And we are looking forward to some great racing. Once again, this weekend brought to you by Toyo Tires at Argent Lab. The 2007 National Championships here with NASA and the Camaro Mustang Challenge. We are looking for our standing start here. Our pole sitter, Al, actually decided to go to the outside here today to get a better run through turn number 1.
Yeah, I believe you talked to some friends who have raced here a little more often than he has, and they said taking the outside line is not a bad choice here because you can get the slingshot around the corner and you'll get a better run going up into the all-important keyhole turn.
We've got some great in-car cameras, folks, on Glenn Landrum, on Jeff Birch, on Nick Steele, and Cody Powell as well, and we are now green. Our field storming off the start-finish line here through turn number 1, on board with Landrum. Your pole sitter did not get a great start there, spun the wheels on that machine.
He did. He a little too, didn't get that great launch, spun the wheels, and with that poor launch, and he's also on the outside. He now, gets pushed to the outside. He can't get a good run through the course. So he's falling back. It looks like back to 5th spot. So it'll be interesting to see how fast he can get back up the speed and get around some of these guys who didn't so as fast a lap time as him in qualifying.
The first run, obviously, up into the keyhole, turn number 2 here at Mid-Ohio, very important, as it's going to set your run down the back straightaway, and here they go for the first time down through the kink, turn number 3, to heartbreaking turn number 4 that leads into a fantastic set of corners here at Mid-Ohio, known as the S. It's a right-hander here in turn number 4. We'll go through turn number 5, which is an uphill corner that eventually leads to this kind of off-camber downhill run over to turn number 6. A fantastic place to run. Quick tap of the brakes, back on the throttle. Good run there for Landrum. A Stone actually goes off there. Trouble there for one of our drivers. That is Stone off in that corner there, Al. That was a tough call for him to go a little wide there in turn number 6.
A little wide. Looks like he just didn't get quite to the apex and was trying to carry a little too much speed off there. And unfortunately, in that corner there, if you're just off the line a little bit, there could be a little rubble strips off there or some rubber. You can't get the grip, and next thing you know, you're off in the grass and you got to get back out of it, try and get back onto the course.
We'll have a look at our top 5 right now. Birch leads it, Powell up into 2nd. I believe Stone might have been able to hold on to that position, but it looks like he may have dropped back. So here we go, folks, to complete our opening lap at CMC on the track here. The first of 18 laps set to go here right now. As we said, your leader right now, the number 3 of Glenn Landrum. In the number 7, he's being classified here as the leader, Cody Powell, in the 2nd spot. Then will be the 45 of Nick Steele. And then we'll have the number 70, I believe, of Landrum. That's Landrum actually further back. The leader actually is Jeff Birch in the number 3. So Birch leads it here right now, back here as we begin lap number 2. Down through the keyhole, Al. Looks like Birch got a great start and it's a fairly decent lead right now to get things rolling.
Good side lead, so it'll be interesting to see how Powell can do here coming out of the keyhole. As you said, it's probably the key corner on this racetrack in these high horsepower cars because you need to get a good launch off of that, but use all that horsepower down this long back straightaway and then get harder on the brakes. This is where the CMC cars have the distinct advantage of the CM2 cars because they may have more horsepower, but they're carrying so much more weight, they can't get in the braking zone quite as deep as these cars can.
Really great start as well for the number 14 of Brady Flaherty out of Wilton, California, able to work his way from 8th position up into the top 5 early. Exactly what he wanted to do was to be able to challenge on that opening lap to grab a couple of spots, and that puts him now in the hunt. But we're still watching the number 3 here, as we said, of Jeff Birch. Birch, actually the 2006 Texas region champion. He's going head-to-head, obviously, sometime in qualifying for sure against Glenn Landrum, who was the 2007 champion. So the CMC category pretty strong in Texas, and both of those drivers looking good here in Ohio.
We actually have a nice mix there up the front. We got 2 guys from Texas and 2 guys from California, a Rocky Mountain guy thrown in the middle there. So you got that West Coast battle. I'm sure they've all seen each other throughout the season, know a little bit about each other's driving styles. The one disadvantage they have is because they're on the other side of the country, I guarantee you most of them have not seen Mid-Ohio very often, if at all. So coming this weekend, they've been working, getting quicker as the weekend's been progressing. They've had some qualifying races to get used to the track, try some different setups, see how your tires hold up, and what you need to do to go quick around here.
On board right now here with Nick Steele, the number 45 machine, currently running in the 3rd spot. And Al, you mentioned the fact that a lot of guys haven't been to Mid-Ohio. And one of the great things for NASA to have their national championship event here at such a fantastic racetrack, prestigious, and just a really high quality racetrack. And all these guys, they get to check Mid-Ohio off that personal list of tracks they want to run on. You talk to people, but what kind of track do you want to run? Where do you want to run at? Well, I want to get down. I want to do Laguna Seca at least once. I want maybe Road America, Road Atlanta. You got to know that Mid-Ohio is on one of those checklists.
It is. It's one of those tracks that, as you say, most of the road races around North America have a list of tracks they want to go race on, one for prestige or maybe for the challenge of the track or the history. Mid-Ohio offers a little of all of that because it has a great history of road racing here in North America, and also the challenge here because it's such a technically demanding track. You have the high-speed stuff. You got, as we're watching here, through the S's, where you really have to have a nicely balanced car that so you can keep the speed through here and get into the Thunder Valley and see how fast you can get back on the power, because this is a nice little rundown into the carousel.
They really use the elevation changes here at Mid-Ohio to give you a lot of off-camber corners, and you really have to have good setup, good handling, and the ability to drive the car on the edge a little bit, maybe even throttle steer it a little bit, because these off-camber corners are very tough but very challenging. Right now, watching our top 5 continue to run here in CMC. Your leader remains the number 3 of Birch. It's the number 22 of Cody Powell now running in 2nd spot, the 45 of Nick Steele in P3. Just a little while ago when we were on board with your pollster Glenn Landrum in the number 7, he has worked his way back up into 4th spot. And Brady Flaherty continues to run in the 5th position. That is your fast 5 here right now, as our driver's working lap number 3. Some pretty good running up front right now, and here's Powell starting to close in. He's trying to look to the inside here in the keyhole, pardon me. Powell starting to put some pressure on Birch up front.
Yeah, he's definitely closed that gap, and let's see if he gets a good run coming out of onto the back straightaway here. It seems like they're pretty evenly matched in the horsepower, so it'll be who gets the better run to come in the corner and who has the better car under braking. The other thing too is these are big, heavy cars. These are not your Formula cars or your Spec Miatas. These things require some tender love here on the brakes, because if you go hard on the brakes early in this race, I guarantee you at the end of this 18-lap endeavor, you're not going to have any brakes, and you're just going to go straight off on that gravel beach known as China Beach.
Look at these guys going at it big time there. Powell had a great run through the S's, had a look to the inside of Birch coming over to turn number 5, that uphill run, but thought better of it and tucked back in. But we have some really close racing right now. A solid battle for the lead here in CMC. It's our Camaro Mustang Challenge here, folks, at the NASA National Championships at Mid-Ohio. Once again, Rob Howden and Al Craighead giving you your play-by-play of this event here. And as we have said from the get-go, it's been Jeff Birch up front, the number 3, but I'm telling you, Cody Powell and that Camaro, the number 22 and 96 Chevrolet Camaro, putting some serious pressure on our leader right now. There's no time here for Jeff Birch to settle in, is there, at all? We got 3 laps down, and it's already at Donnybrook.
Yeah, you can tell, and you can tell he's working that car brake. It's doing a little darting there under acceleration and under braking. So he knows he's got some of his mirrors, and then right now, a couple lengths behind him, you got another great battle going on. Nick Steele coming under pressure from Lundrum, your pulsator. So Lundrum's got the speed around front. It's where do you find the place to pass here? They're these size of cars. I would guess you probably have maybe 2 really good places last, maybe 3. And if you're really brave or want to try something bold maneuvers, then try maybe another spot. But 2 spots is pretty much all you got, or maybe even 3.
Look at these 2 guys battling right now. As you said, it's Landrum trying to find a way through. We're on board with Landrum right now as he is pushing Steele big time for the 3rd spot. He went to the outside there, tried him into the keyhole, but wasn't able to make it. Let's see if he gets a better run this time down. They're through the kink here. Here comes Landrum. Can he get into the draft, working his way down to turn number 4? At this point, it looks like Steele able to hold him back here at Steele in the number 45, Landrum in the number 70. And so we're watching Landrum really trying to work Steele here. Well, one driver obviously excited about being here and looking to get a little bit better is our leader right now, Jeff Birch, in the number 3. Al, we talked about this, you and I, off broadcast, with the fact that he was second last year. He's the runner-up last year at the Nationals. You know Jeff Birch has that one more position on the podium that he's looking at. The guy wants to win, and right now, out front, he's looking pretty good.
He is looking pretty good up front, but it's very early in this great race. So it'll be interesting to see how well he deals with continued pressure, because he's going to be feeling that for a couple laps. Landrum there, you saw the outside line he tried, and he had that big wiggle, and you could see the difference going down the back straight. That's why he wasn't getting close enough to get in the draft there. But now he's closed back up, so he's got, place himself here, get a good run coming out of these little corners, and maybe he might be able to try something in one, but more ideally, tuck in, exiting one, and you have a shot in the carousel. But that's not going to work there for the big wiggle coming out of the corner.
Holy mackerel, you're right. He is pushing the thing in a big way, and as you saw there, that car really started to rotate at the apex there of turn number 12. The kick back onto the front straightaway. He barely held onto that thing, but was able to continue on there. Yeah, Landrum definitely looks like he's quicker. He was the pole sitter. Obviously has the speed to run up front, but right now he's been really tied up trying to get by, I believe, Landrum. Or rather, Landrum trying to get by Steele. So it's been tough for him to work his way through here. We'll see, because right now this has kind of allowed Jeff Birch and Cody Powell to pull away a little bit. Now we're only 5 laps in, but these two guys are starting to pull a bit of a gap.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they maybe want to work together for a couple laps from that. I noticed also Powell's taking a slightly tighter line to the keel turn to try and get a better run down this back straightaway. So he might be trying a couple different lines here, knowing he has speed to stay close, but let's try a couple of things, and that's what you do early in the race here. You can try a couple different things, see what works, as long as you're not losing drastic ground. And the guys, he doesn't have to worry about the guys behind him, because they're busy battling away, so he can try and work on some things and just keep the leader in front of him.
And that's exactly what I was going to bring up. We have 2 essentially battles here. First and second are dicing, third and fourth are dicing, second and fourth in exactly the same positions, really. They have no one behind them. They have no one there to try to attack on them right now, so they're able to try a lot of different things. They're able to go a lot wider into a corner to get a better run out, and we'll see if that's going to pay off at all, because right now it's Cody Powell in second, putting the pressure on Jeff Birch, and it's Glenn Landrum running in 4th spot, pressuring Nick Steele as well. But coming up right now, Al, on one of our other categories here, battling with the Factory 5 racing guys here, we got some lap traffic here.
Got some lap traffic, and you can tell those cars look a little different. Those Factory 5 cars are actually pretty much Cobra 427 cars. Similar horsepower, but they're 1,000 pounds lighter. So theoretically, it should be a lot quicker. This gentleman obviously is not. So it'll be interesting to see how Birch deals with the try. I think he didn't get held up too much there exiting turn 1, so he should be okay going to keel, and we'll see. Powell's, if he set a pick here, no, Powell, the Factory 5, he did push him a little outside, so that might help him a little, but I think he actually got around him.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The Factory 5 car, the Cobra 427 replica, was on the inside, so Powell wasn't able to do any kind of a dive move to the inside. In fact, he did get caught a little bit on the outside going in to turn number 2, the keyhole here at Mid-Ohio, and that did allow Jeff Birch to be able to kind of hold on. But again, here comes Powell. He seems to got a lot of top end, some good horsepower on that car. Hard on the brakes again. Look at this time. Yeah, he's got Birch thinking as he is diving down the inside here.
Yeah, you can tell that Birch sees him coming and knows that he's got the power, so he's going, okay, if you want to try and beat me, you have to go around the long way, around the outside. However, he should know that if he's been watching some races here at Mid-Ohio over the weekend, that if you get that outside line and you can hold it, you have the more valuable inside line coming up the top of the hill there, and which can make things a little difficult.
You got to really take it there, though, because you got to be in the inside there, because when you come over top of that hill, you're still on the outside heading down into turn number 6. That's what's the great thing about Mid-Ohio here. You have to make a move stick. You really have to commit to it completely as they work their way through Thunder Valley here right now. And it's still Jeff Birch leading, your runner-up from 2006, trying to go one better here in 2007, and he's trying to hold back, as we said, Cody Powell. And Steele still runs 3rd, Landrum 4th, Flaherty 5th. I believe it's Byerly now up into the 6th position, Rusty Ferguson in 7th, Pat Stone in 8th. And rounding out, who do we have your 9th spot here right now is Steve Poe. So that's the battle we got going here right now, as the number of drivers still in the hunt here for it, but it's Birch and Powell right together, Steele and Landrum again in 3rd and 4th.
And Powell knows how to win because he won his qualifying race on Saturday. So he knows what it takes to win a race here. So we'll wait and see if maybe he's going to keep pushing that car the whole time, or maybe he's going to back off a little bit, serve a little for a couple laps, and then do another quick challenge. And Landrum's really starting to push there on Steele.
Powell having a really good run. He actually got positioned back to last during the Friday's qualifying race for a suspension rules infraction. That was tough for him, but he fought back, came back and won the Saturday qualifying race. That put him back up front. That could have been really the night that would have killed his chance of winning. But man, he is still there running in second spot.
And you can tell, even though these two are, pushing pretty hard into each other, they're building that gap there on third and fourth. Third and fourth seem to be dropping back further and further because they're doing their own battle and not worrying too much or even concentrating too much on the guys up front, unfortunately.
Let's give a chance, give a shout out to our sponsors here of our drivers up front. Jeff Birch in that number 3. It's a Chev Camaro 91 entry. Argent Lab, the backing on that one there, and Cody Powell in his 96 Camaro, sponsored by Russell Holmes. So I want to give both of those guys a chance to get those sponsors out there as they are sitting 1-2 here right now. Then it's Nick Steele still third, Glenn Landry in fourth, and Brian Flaherty continues to round out your top 5. But you're right, Al, these leaders out front here continue to pull away even though they're battling a little bit.
Yeah, it's fun to watch to see what they're going to do and to see maybe if guys can give each other some hand signals, some of that. Maybe Steele and Landrum are going to start signaling each other, hey, why don't we work together for a couple laps, close up, and then we can all battle, make it a 4-car battle, and put some pressure on them because the guys up front seem to be dealing with their own little battle quite fun and pulling away from us. We need to work together here and get up and catch these guys.
Yeah, Landrum has not been putting too much pressure on. You're exactly right there. He's been sitting maybe 3 or 4 lengths behind Nick Steele right here. So these guys still run third and fourth. Interesting to see if they will be able to dig in as we're only coming to the halfway point right now. Still lots of racing left to go. And behind these two guys in third and fourth, you see the battle here for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th all running together. And here comes Landrum trying to the inside as they exit the keyhole. He's trying everything he can, Al.
He has. He tried that inside move and just couldn't pinch it in just tight enough. He couldn't carry enough speed. When you take that insider line, you have to, get off the gas a little, maybe try and rotate the car exiting the corner. But Steele had the better run going on the outside, got the run, carried more speed exiting the corner, which obviously helps him coming down here and then braking.
Yeah, that's not normally a move that will work at Mid-Ohio, to try to pinch the inside, come out of the straightaway. Really, mostly you want to go out and get up on the rumble strips on the outside to really let that car spool up as you get out onto the straightaway. It is a long straightaway through the kink and down into a very important and hard braking section where we normally see a lot of passing here at Mid-Ohio. But as they come through madness now, this battle continues, and Landrum in the number 70, we're on board with him again. He continues to put the pressure here on Nick Steele.
And Steele's car is looking pretty good through the right-left sequences there. He's not getting too much body roll. His car's not sliding around too much. So it tells me he's got a pretty well-balanced car that he can run there. So I think the key for him is going to be getting those good runs coming out of like this portion here of the carousel, cleaning that so he goes into 1. Good run out 1 and good run out of the keyhole. And then he doesn't have to worry about being passed on the straightaway because his car's too good through the right-left complex through madness.
Well, you got to give him the props. He was the quickest driver in our qualifying races, beat the track record by nearly 2 seconds. Quick enough that the tech official decided to bring him in a couple times. I think he was on the dyno 3 or 4 times here this weekend. And they do dyno the cars to make sure they're within the specs. So obviously Steele has been having the eye of the technical officials. He has been very quick, and nonetheless having a great run here right now in 3rd spot.
Yeah, like you said, he got to visit the dyno guy, so I'm sure he knows how everything works down there. He's been visiting the dyno. Maybe bring some sandwiches down to the guy. Hey, I'll be back later. You guys need a coffee or something? I'll bring something down for you.
First name basis with the guys running the dyno. Interesting though, a big thing as well in the Saturday qualifying race, they had trouble. The crew forgot to put the hood pins in the hood. In that race, the hood went right up and over, smashed the back of the car as well, the back deck lid. They could get some work on that car, so they've been wrenching on that thing all weekend long already.
Yeah, so Nick Steele there that you were talking about, so he had to make some calls and stuff like that. And that's one of the great things about this NASCAR. It is a community, and one of the great things about racing in general. But it's a community, they all know each other. Guys will help each other out. So they made some calls, got on the internet, said, hey, this is the part I'm looking for this car, or how, the weight I need, that's all I need. And sure enough, someone came out and helped them out, and he's got a new hood.
Another great thing we want to mention is also for Nick Steele, this is his first wedding anniversary weekend. You gotta like that. You gotta like a wife that'll let you come to the races on your anniversary weekend. I believe Nick's wife actually here this weekend to watch him run, so great to have them both here. Once again, folks, this is the National Autosport Association 2007 National Championships, brought to you by Toyo Tires, your feature class here on this particular Speedcast Camaro Mustang Challenge. And it is sponsored by Argent Lab. We've got some great racing right now. Your leader remains number 3 of Jeff Birch. Second place, the 22 of Cody Powell. We're back on board here again with Glenn Landrum. Your pole sitter has fallen back to 4th spot, but the battle continues between he and number 45, Nick Steele. We could see something here, Al. They're working their way down at turn number 1. Landrum looked to the inside. Now he's going to go to the outside. We have a driver way off further back. It looks like Rusty Ferguson went 4 wheels off in the grass further back. This could get a little bit of action here coming up into the keyhole again. Man, these guys, there's dust everywhere right now.
Dust everywhere. Little guys going a little hard under the braking there. Landrum, it looked like he had a better run coming out turn 1. He had a nice clean apex in there, got on the horsepower. His problem was that Steele decided to run right down the middle of the road, which he's entitled to. He didn't pick a lane, just stuck with what he was doing. But Landrum didn't know what to do. Go inside, outside, and didn't make a decision, so unfortunately he couldn't get the move done. But he's right there. He's definitely showing his mirrors, his bumper to the mirror of Steele there.
They are working hard, closing up on another one of our Factory 5 racing category drivers. We'll see how that's going to come into play here. Ideally, they'll be able to find a way to buy it. Wow, that was a big move there by Landrum. Maybe got a little bit weird there coming through the apex of turn number 6. And they continue to run very closely. There's Steele and number 45, and then number 70, Glenn Landrum. That's 3rd and 4th right now as they're going to be able to go down the inside of that Cobra replica as they work their way through Thunder Valley right now. Back up here through turn number 10. Another one of those kind of off-camber corners, very tough corner, working your way over here to the turn 11 carousel. And Landrum's just trying everything. He's trying different lines, different entry lines, just trying to get a little bit more to try to get by Steele here. And the bottom line is that Steele is holding them up, I think, at this point here, as he just cannot get by. And now, this time, though, right up on the deck lid, going into turn number 1. He was very close there through turn number 1. Let's see if he can get another good drive out of 1 here. And there's trouble right there. That's all it takes. As Nick Steele drops a wheel on the exit of 1, 4 wheels, in fact. You got to think, the pass is done. It is now Glenn Landrum back up in to 3rd spot.
So all that pressure, he's been pushing on Steele, and it was a nice clean move. He didn't tap him or anything. He just got in his mirrors and made him go deeper, and he wanted to go in 1. He carried too much speed. Kept the car going, but once you get a wheel off from the rumble strips, you're done. You're losing momentum. Landrum goes hustling right past it into the 2nd spot.
That was a textbook approach. He kept pushing him the whole time. Let's see if Steele's able to come back and get it. He's not. So Landrum did exactly what you could do. You try to find a way by, you try to race your way by, but if you're relentless with the pressure, sometimes you can push your competitor into an error, and that's what happened there. You're exactly right. Nick Steele tried to carry just a little bit too much speed through turn number 1. The car washed out, a little bit of a front end push, and like you said, you put a couple wheels off here at Mid-Ohio, it's going to be 4 pretty quick.
It is. It's the grass has a way of sucking you off track real quick and stuff like that. But as you said, you make the guy drive through looking in his mirror, so he's not thinking about, maybe I miss. All he has to do is just miss his apex by a foot here, get in a foot too late under braking, carry a little too much speed, and he goes off, makes a minor mistake, and that's all he takes to go around. But Powell's been very impressive too, running up there. But it's great fun. Landrum, the other thing too, has been fun to watch. As you say, his car doesn't look as balanced as Steele's, but man, he's got quick hands because he's been throwing that car on board, off board. You're watching the nose pointer on. He's catching it, throwing that car around.
Yeah, he's had that car on the ragged edge more than once already. He's been tossing that thing big time, and I think we realize right now he's pulling away by 3 or 4 lengths already from Nick Steele in the 45. All it took was for him to get by. Now he's looking forward, saying, hey, I got to go after those leaders. I got to catch up here. He's only got 6 laps remaining here. Jeff Birch in the number 3 and Cody Powell in the 22 have been able to pull that gap. They've been able to stretch away as Steele is holding Landrum back. The case right now is, does he have enough time to close back up on our lead duo?
We'll wait and see exactly. Is 6 laps enough for him to close the gap? Close the gap, catch up with these guys, and he wants to see these guys going side by side through the corners.
Exactly right.
He wants to see them going side by side, a little bumping and rubbing, burning their brakes off, burning their tires off, and he's just going to run fast, consistent laps to close that gap. He needs to close, second lap, half a second lap, but which is, you never know if it's possible till you do it.
You know what? And you're watching these guys up front here right now. We're back on board here with Powell, Cody Powell in the 22. Jeff Birch is not running racing lines right now. He's coming down to turn number 4 there. He was right down the inside. He had to slow. He did not get a good run through 4 and up to 5. And that allowed Powell to have a look in the inside at turn number 5, come up the hill on the S's. Really, Birch is already starting to get a little bit defensive here.
He is. He's starting to run that defensive line that is well known around here in Mid-Ohio. It's a line that's fast enough to keep you out front, so you're not, slowing down dramatically, but makes it real difficult for the guy behind you to pass because, as I mentioned before, there's a couple key spots to pass, and if you take the inside line and make him go the outside, it's possible, but it makes it a lot harder.
Yeah, number 1 being heading down the back straightaway into turn number 4, because that is a tough place to get down the inside, and somebody's really going to block you to the inside a little bit. But now we're here with Birch on board with our leader. Obviously, he'd rather have nobody in front of him. Another lap car coming up there, one of our Cobra 427 replicas, a Factory 5 racing category that's on track here with our Camaro Mustang Challenge drivers as well. And here comes Powell again. I think Powell's probably looking forward at this lap car saying, hey, maybe I'll get something here. If he can get some kind of a pick, any kind of a block from that lap car. Powell may see this as his opportunity to pounce after the lead.
Yeah, he's hoping that factory 5 car, they close up in the factory 5 car, maybe through like madness or something like that, really stacks him up, or maybe exiting the carousel so that, so he gets a good run. He gets the fast corner, gets to exit the corner at speed, whereas Birch does not, and that's what he's hoping for right now. But he's trying the same thing that we saw before Lundgren was doing the steal, which is getting his mirrors, make him, all you need to do is make him drive without mirrors, and all it takes is, miss an apex by a foot or a braking zone by half a foot, and you're in trouble.
Oh yeah, we all know the concentration levels it takes to run a really quick lap here at Mid-Ohio. This is a very technical racetrack. You have to place the car in the right spot, and if you can push a guy to the point where he's not given 100% in that focus of where he needs to place the car, he may drop the wheel, as we saw earlier with Nick Steele. But right now, it was very interesting to me last time down through turn number 4 again. This time, Jeff Birch all the way to the inside in turn number 4. And you got to think that pretty soon Powell's going to be able to make a move here, because he is just not getting through those S's very quickly. Still only inching up on this factory 5 car. They are not closing up as much as they have in some of the other classes, as we are now 14 laps into this, only 4 laps remaining. And it doesn't look to me like Glenn Landrum in the number 7 is going to be able to close up enough to make this a 3-driver battle. I got to think it's going to come down to 2.
I'm thinking you're speaking the truth there, because he's pulled a gap, but not that much a gap. And look at this great battle behind. We're having some good, this is showcasing the evenness of these cars. They put a lot of effort into the torque and power ratios and the weight ratios to try and make these cars as even as possible. So you do have cars from 1991 to 2003, 2004. So some widely different stuff happening. So I'll leave it to the guys that are coming into action up here in the keyhole. See how they all go through there now.
That doesn't look real good. We got a couple of guys up on the Kirby coming into the keyhole there. We're not going to see the results of that one, but that looked a little bit ugly. Not sure what happened there, but we were 3 wide. I wonder if we're going to get a replay on that one. We'll continue to watch our leaders work through the S. Yeah, we are going to get a replay. Got a couple drivers coming in here. I believe that's Ferguson right in there as well. We got 3 or 4 guys. I don't think our camera's going to give us what we want there, but man, I get a feeling that was going to be ugly coming through.
It looked like the guy to the very inside decided there was no track, so he just going to take the grass and the rumble strip. Unfortunately, the track turns to the right, which means either T-boning or going straight through into the gravel trap, and there's a big concrete wall behind that. So hopefully there weren't any wrecked cars totally destroyed there or anybody beat up. So let's go back up front, though. It looks like Birch has pulled a gap there, even though it's the traffic. Maybe he's using that Factory 5 car to get a draft down these straightaways, because those Factory 5 cars are just as quick down the straightaways, and then on the braking. That's the problem with trying to pass one of these guys, is you may be actually quicker around the lap, but they have the same horsepower as you, and they have a lot less weight, so they can get deeper in the braking zones.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. This guy's been a little bit quicker than some of the other Factory 5s we've gone by, and Birch will see if he can get a run out at turn number 1 here. Working again down as we're now 15 laps in, 3 laps remaining in our national championship run for the Camaro Mustang Challenge. Our CMC drivers we're focusing on right now. It's a battle between Jeff Birch and Cody Powell for the win, and Birch will go down the inside of that Factory 5 car. What an excellent strategy move there, as he was able to put the Factory 5 Cobra replica between himself and Powell. Man, that is going to be tough for Powell to get around, because he is running. Now let's see if that Cobra is able to go back by. I wonder if he'll even think about that. If he realizes that this is the battle for the national championship here, he may settle off. And he does, but he's going to get in the way of the big braking move by Powell. Oh, man, that is tough right there for Cody Powell, as this Factory 5 car finally lets him through, concedes position, and this is allowed. Birch, what do you think, Cal? Maybe a half a second there?
A half a second. He's actually very fortunate the Factory 5 car decided to give it way to him, because that was a perfect pick. Birch got the whole thing down the front straightaway, went through the Essence part there, and if he gets stuck behind that Factory 5 car, there's nowhere to pass till you get the Thunder Valley, so it would have been even bigger lead. So he's fortunate that he moved out when he did, but still, Birch benefited of a nice little pick, stretched his lead out to maybe 4 car lengths there right now.
I believe it'll be 2 laps to go this time by for your leader, the number 3, Jeff Birch, the driver out of the Texas region. As we said, he was a 2006 Texas region champion in the Camaro Mustang Challenge, a runner-up last year at the national championships. He wants that one more position, wants to take that checkered flag back home with him to the Texas region, and Birch continues to lead in the number 3. They're saying 3 laps to go, they're telling us right now. 3 laps remaining, so we get the update here from our scoring computer. 3 to go in this year's national championship. Jeff Birch looking very good, and that's the track he wants to see clear track in front of him.
He wants a clear track from him. Well, I was going to say, it'll be interesting. His day job is he's a cameraman for Fox Outlet. So he's used to be the guy filming the interviews. So I'm not sure. We'll wait and see what his skills like, or maybe after the end of the weekend, how he's good at dealing with being on the other side of the camera. I'm sure he's looking forward to that.
We will have our Speedcast representatives down in pit lane to talk with our top three, I would assume. The winner for sure when this thing's all wrapped up, and it still remains Jeff Birch in the number 3, your leader here, as we have 3 laps remaining in this weekend's race. This is going to be a good one so far, folks, as we continue to put those laps away here in the Camaro Mustang Challenge. And again, Jeff Birch leads, Cody Powell runs in second, and Glenn Landrum now up into third spot after a really good run. He was able to get by Nick Steele. We thought maybe he was going to have what it takes to run up front and catch these leaders, but that does not seem to be the case.
No, I think Steele held him up enough that he's too far back. He's not going to have a shot unless they either take each other out or make a major mistake, that he's going to have a shot at fighting for the win. So his main goal now is to try and close the gap, get close enough just in case they make a mistake, and secure that podium position for him. Because it would have been interesting to see what sort of times if he was running, if they were the 3 of them running, if he had the car to win this thing. But we'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. There's still a couple laps to go.
2 more laps to go and more lap traffic as well. Jeff Birch has not cleared the traffic he wants as he continues to have a couple more drivers in front of him here. I believe another Factory 5 driver right out in front of him right now, as we now get 2 laps remaining. 2 to go for Jeff Birch in his quest for the National Championship. He is a Camaro pilot here in the Argent Labs number 3, and he is continuing to run out front here. As we said, there's Landrum right there in the number 70 running third. There's the yellow 45 and Nick Steele. And further back, I believe that's the number 14 of Brady Flaherty out of the Northern California region. But he's in a bit of a battle there as well. We continue to watch the fight here. Back on board with Powell. You know what? He's going to have some lap cars to work with here, Al. They have got 2 guys right in front of your leader right now with 2 to go, and Powell has shown that he is the best of the brakes heading into 4.
He has. He's shown that great deal. The thing in front of him, though, it's a multi-car Factory 5 valve, and they may not even know they're dealing with their own little valve position. They may not know that, hey, we got the race leader coming through. So hopefully some blue flags being waved there. It's a 3-car valve he's got to get around, but hopefully some blue flags, and that's allowed. Oh yeah, look at that. It's closed. Powell's right back up behind him.
Wow, that is definitely a dice right now. This is exactly what we talked about. If some lap cars could do it, it would, and it's happening right now. Here comes Birch trying to work his way through here. Powell's got to be aggressive. He's got to go after it. Up on the curbing, coming through turn number 6, through Madness. Back up here over to Thunder Valley. This is going to be big here at the end of our Camaro Mustang Challenge. Birch attacking big time on these lap cars, trying to work his way through. They got to realize now that this is the leader. Let's see if he gets out of the way for Powell as they're coming up over top of the hill here in turn number 10 through 11. That driver going to pull to the outside. Now here we go. They're going to let them both through now. But some really impressive driving by Jeff Birch. He'll get the white flag this time by the stripe, but Al, Birch handled that very well. He was aggressive just enough not to get himself in trouble.
Yeah, he was aggressive enough to sort of force the issue, make the guys see in the mirror, a big car here, get out of my way, I'm coming through, not give them the opportunity to clutch up the door, and you shove your car in there, let them know you're there, and make them back out of it and let you go ahead.
You know what, he got very lucky. That could have been very bad. Now the great thing is those Factory 5 drivers can resume their battle right now. The gentleman racers allowing the guys to get back into position. They'll do their own racing. But back up front, our final lap here in the Camaro Mustang Challenge, folks. It is Jeff Birch leading it. He has a pretty solid gap right now over Cody Powell in the 22, but can Powell dig deep and find something here? No traffic this time into 4. Now he's got to make his move.
Now, unfortunately, it didn't look like he had the greatest run there, so he's really have to stand on the brakes. He's going to go as humanly deep as possible in these big cars, so he's going to try and take it down the 1 or 2 mark, but it looks like Birch was doing the same thing because he went flying out there under braking.
Yeah, that's about as deep as Birch has gone all day here, at least in the final laps of this race. He really pushed hard down into 4. He leads up through 5, into 6 now, still on board with Cody Powell, your best vantage point to watch our leader, Jeff Birch, run up front in the number 3. Still about 4 car lengths as they work their way into Thunder Valley. Not a lot of spots to pass right now. You're not going to get a guy up into turn number 10. He's got to stick the nose down in, heading into turn number 11, the carousel. If anything's going to happen, but Birch looks like he has this thing handled right now, but you know what? It's not over till it's over. Up over the hill right now, down into the carousel. You can tell Birch going to stay to the inside there, a little easier on the brakes. I don't think anybody's going to handle it right now, folks. Your winner here, your national champion from second last year to first this year in the Camaro Mustang Challenge. Your champion is Jeff Birch. Cody Powell takes second. Looking for Glenn Landrum to come around here to grab a hold of third spot. There's Landrum in third. Nick Steele's going to be fourth position coming across the stripe. And to cap off our top 5, it should be the 14 of Brady Flaherty. He was in that position last time through here. Still looking, we got the static camera working. Here comes the last driver here. Yeah, I believe that will be the number 14 of Brady Flaherty, capping your top 5 here this year's National Championship.
I'm here with Jeff Birch, our first place winner for the CMC 2007 NASA Championships. Jeff, can you tell me a little bit about your race? It looked like you took off pretty early and kept the lead.
I got a great start and just took off, and that was it.
Sounds good. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for this race?
Yeah, Argent Lab, race radios, they're real good to me, and Carbotech brakes. That's my secret there on the brakes is Carbotech.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Good job. Hi, I'm here with Cody Powell, who is our second place finisher for the CMC 2007 National Championship. Cody, can you tell me a little bit about your race? It looks like you kind of took off early and kind of kept second. Pretty much.
Yeah, you know, first I'd like to thank my good Lord Jesus Christ for keeping me safe out there. And yeah, Jeff got a good start, and I just kind of followed him through there. And boy, I chased him hard. I tried to get around him, and a couple times I got a fender in there, but I never could get around him. And Jeff's a heck of a driver, and real nice to drive with, and I had a blast, just an absolute blast. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad you had a good time. And can you tell me, is there anybody you'd like to thank for this year and people who've helped you out?
You know, I'd like to thank my wife and my children first for giving me the time to do this. Toyo Tires, they sponsor this whole deal, and that's great. My instructor, Judy Fast, back in Colorado with Fast Performance Driving, she did a heck of a job. Carbotech brakes, they're taking care of us, and we're just real happy to be here.
Great. Congratulations again. Good job. Thanks. I'm here with Glenn Landrum, our third place winner for the CMC 2007 NASA Championships. Glenn, can you tell me a little bit about your race?
Well, the start was a little bad for me. I guess I had a little bit too much RPM, spun the tires out of the hole, and went from first to fourth before the first corner. And from there on, I just battled with Nick Steele head to head, and he's an awesome driver, and pretty much used up the car getting past him. And the other guys just checked out. All I could hope for was a yellow, but never happened. I was trying my best to run them down, but just tried to run a good, clean race and hit my marks. And I got to give a big thanks to Mitch Warren, my crew chief, my wife and kids at home, Tammy and Morgan and Carly, Kevin Turner, Moonlight Printing and Graphics, Steve Mulder, Natwell Welding Supply, PST, and Argent Labs. I couldn't have done this without those guys. They're the reason I'm here right now.
Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, that's going to cap things off here, folks, from Mid-Ohio. The Speedcast of the National Autosport Association Camaro Mustang Challenge National Championships, brought to you by Toyo Tires and Argent Lab. What a great run there, Al. Let's have a look at our top 10 as Jeff Birch scoring the national championship.
As you said, Jeff Birch from Bedford, Texas, won your Chevy Camaro, was your national champion, driving a fantastic race. Cody Powell finished second in yet another Chevy Camaro. Glenn Landrum, who started on pole, came back to finish third in a Chevy Camaro. Nick Steele, who had a very entertaining battle there of Landrum, finished fourth in a Chevy Camaro. And Brady Flaherty capped your top 5 in yet another Chevy Camaro. 6 drivers finishing on the lead lap. Bruce Byerly in the number 0 was 6th position there. And then, of course, after that, we had Steve Poe in 7th, Bob Denton in 8th, Robert Boudreau in 9th, and Corey Ruth rounding out your top 10. Some great racing there. Let's have a look as well at our CMC2 final results. Yeah, we did have a second class there. Finishing as your national champion, CMC2 is your defending CMC national champion, Jim Griffith, who was driving a Mustang, Ford Mustang. Kevin Margetta finished second in yet another Ford Mustang GT, and completing the top 3 in CMC2 was Brad Simpson in a Chevy Camaro. No, folks, that's going to wrap things up here from Mid-Ohio. It's been a fantastic race. We saw a fantastic battle, as we said, folks, between Jeff Birch and Cody Powell. They went at it tooth and nail. It was excellent to watch. On behalf of the National Autosport Association, Speedcast Productions, and our broadcast sponsors, Toyo Tires and Argent Lab, as well as my colleague Al Craighead, this is Rob Howden bidding you farewell from Mid-Ohio.